Hello, welcome back to YCFT. We're both very unwell, so I'm just going to start with an apology if we're sniffly, coffee, or if we just generally don't sound our usual selves.
I went and got myself COVID over the weekend.
Yeah, and I think I've just got the flu.
Yeah.
Maybe. So, it's no secret as to how Jeepers Creepers Reborn has been perceived by the community. Is that the right word? Perceived?
I think, yeah. It is a good point. Like, how many people have seen this film outside of the Jeepers Creepers fandom? How many people outside of the Jeepers Creepers fandom even know this film exists?
That is a very good point. In fact, the screening we went to was actually sold out.
It was sold out.
But we also had to drive 40 minutes to get to one.
Yes. Interesting story, that.
We'll get to that later.
This film has not had a wide release.
No, kind of like Jeepers Creepers 3.
Yeah. We only could find 2 screenings of this. One was in Liverpool and one was in Leeds.
Yeah.
This has not been a big film.
No, I can kind of see why.
Yes. We got to talk about Jeepers Creepers
the director,
Reborn.
Timo, how do we say his name? Timo?
I think it's Timo Vernsola. He's Finnish.
I was actually a fan of his based on a film that he made years ago, a crowdfunding film called Iron Sky. Yeah. So I was quite excited. I know there's drama around him, so there's a money thing around him, but that's still not as bad as the Victor Salva drama. I'm just going to show, I feel like even without Victor Salva being involved, I feel like a lot of people still don't want to give time to this franchise, and that's fine. Like, if the creator if you can't look past the creator, then that's absolutely fine. I completely get that, but I feel like this franchise is still tainted, even though we financially cannot benefit from them anymore.
Yeah.
It kind of makes you think, is it even worth continuing to make these films? Because it is not a good film.
It's
barely worth talking about the plot. It's barely worth talking about... I'll give it this, because I think our main point between us is, where does it rank? Because I rank it above Jeepers Creepers 3, whereas you think it's worse than Jeepers Creepers 3.
This was one of the worst films that I've ever seen in the cinema.
You know what's really sad?
Yeah.
Is... It could be definitely the worst film I've seen in the cinema this year. But it's because we've had a really good year of horror movies.
It's been a really good year for horror. And then Jeepers Creepers Reborn came out. Which, to be fair, my expectations weren't, particularly high. I saw the trailer. I saw some of the production stills. And I was like, I don't know. There was something about it that I didn't necessarily like. I didn't like the look of the creeper in the trailer. I really didn't like the look of the creeper in the film. And obviously we'll go into specifics as to why this is not a good movie. But yes, I agree. This is probably the worst that I've seen all year. And I would probably say that it's the worst film I've seen in the cinema.
Wow.
I know. I really, really don't. I
hate shitting on movies because a lot of people work... no one sets out to make a bad movie.
Well, look...
A lot of people have worked really hard on this, but unfortunately that doesn't mean it's... And it's the first creeper film to be filmed in England. Predominantly in England. England, Finland, and 3 days in Louisiana?
3 days in Louisiana.
Yeah. Can I start with, there are some aspects that I actually did like.
Let's talk about positives.
We'll start with some positives before we...
Yeah.
Absolute. Minor spoiler. In fact, I don't even think we're going to make it onto plot points because there's no point.
No, there are maybe some specific moments I'd like to talk about.
The opening of the film.
Yes.
Is actually... It starts off pretty cheesy, and it's basically like an older couple recreating in a shorter amount of time Trish and Derry's story from the beginning, right up until they get up to the hole. Which, interestingly, the guy in the truck was the director, and Dee Wallace plays the wife in it.
Yes.
Which is quite cool. I didn't even clock that at first. It plays off, it's like, alright, retreading old ground. Alright, this is a little bit cheesy, and I was like, until. This is I say a minor spoiler. It pulls out to realize that it's one of our main characters watching an Unsolved Mysteries type show on his phone, and I was like, oh my god, that's actually genius.
I really like that. So, yeah, this elderly couple are basically doing the Trish and Derry route in the car. They get run off the road by the creeper in the truck. They see him dumping the body down the pipe. They go to investigate. And then, it turns out that what we're seeing is a YouTube video from our main one of our main characters, Chase, who's watching it on his phone. And
does he ever mention that he's into true crime and conspiracies?
just maybe just once or
Does
twice.
Does his girlfriend ever mention that she's a scientist?
And is really into logic.
Yeah.
I know, but yeah, I did actually like the opening. Initially, I thought, wait, what are we doing here? Are we just like remaking the first film? But basically, the Unsolved Mysteries thing is, I think we talked about it in one of our probably even the first Jeepers
It was probably. I think we did. We talked about it in the first video.
Yeah, because the whole film, the whole franchise was inspired by this actual Unsolved Mysteries episode where a middle-aged elderly couple were driving down somewhere in Louisiana, I think, and they saw a man dispose of a body behind a church. And once the man realised that he had been spotted, he went in his van and he started chasing this couple. Turns out that guy... Chasing. He was called Dennis Depew. I think he'd murdered his wife, and he went missing for a couple of years after that. But anyway, that episode became an episode on Unsolved Mysteries. That story became an episode on Unsolved Mysteries. So I did like in this film how there was like a little connection there.
So it was a pretty strong start.
Yeah, it was fairly strong.
And then the actors start talking.
It. And then we're introduced to our two main characters.
Yeah. I'm going to go into the other bits that I actually like because...
Yes. Okay.
When we start getting at the characters,
okay.
A big problem. We see it, I don't think it's much of a spoiler because you kind of see it in the trailer. We see the creeper awakening.
Yeah, we see him crawl out of, like, what is it? I don't know, a shed or something.
Yeah.
Day one of 23.
I really liked that, seeing him, he was all skinny, like, cobwebbed over, weak, dragging himself out. I was like, okay, I quite like it. I liked his wings were kind of, like, bony on the back, and I'm like,
yeah.
Okay. The actual performance of the creeper, I didn't have a problem with.
No,
I think the guy did... It's an issue with the screenplay in general. What is the name of the guy? Who plays him?
Jarrow Benjamin.
I know he's from Manchester. And
yes, he's from Salford.
He had 2 episodes on Corrie.
Yeah.
I haven't got a problem. Like, the look of him grew on me. I wasn't a big fan of his face. But in terms of, like, movement and everything, I think he did a fine job. And I think he did the best he could. And every now and then we got a little bit of that creeper silliness, the cheekiness. A little bit. But so he did fight. He is not the problem.
No,
it's everything around him.
He's not. Again, I don't like the look of the creeper in this film, but he's not necessarily the worst part of the film.
Mm-hmm. It goes from like really understanding the creeper and trying to expand on to at the same time completely not understanding the creeper.
Yes.
Yeah. I think that's all. There's a fight scene that I quite liked.
All right. Well, I will say this.
I think that's it. I think I've made it to the end of the things I like.
I will say this. This is not necessarily like a positive thing about the film in general, but I mean, I don't want to shit all over the film necessarily because this was a casualty of COVID. And, you know, God knows how... It's difficult to make a movie at the best of times. But when you're trying to make a movie, you know, mid-pandemic, that is not an easy thing to accomplish. And yet, you know, you are right. No one sets out to make a bad movie. I feel like the people involved, they tried. Like, they tried to the best of their ability to make something. Unfortunately, what they made was not a great film. And I think we both said as soon as we came out of it, well, we said a lot of things when we came out of it, but our main issue, I think, was they tried to be a bit too ambitious maybe with the story, with the confines of the budget that they actually had.
They're clearly, with the cult of the creeper, like he's an urban legend at this point, they might be feeding him, setting people... One thing, you're taking away the hunt of the creeper. In a way, it's like rather than him picking out people that he wants, it's like people being led to the slaughter, which I kind of didn't like. But they definitely left a lot of stuff unanswered because this is meant to be a trilogy. And I hate this when films are written with trilogies in mind. Like the Halloween trilogy, I think, did it. Or the new one that ends, well, in like by the time this comes out, like a week. They're doing it right because when Halloween 2018 came out, they hadn't greenlit the two sequels. They intended to do a trilogy, but they knew there was a chance they could only do one film, so they had to make a really solid first film that could be the end. It could just be seen as a direct sequel to the first one. Right, that's it. Done. And then it obviously did well, got greenlit. This has been made very much assuming that it's going to get sequels. So it leaves a lot
which I was not
unanswered.
aware of.
They didn't put enough effort into the one film.
All right.
Just playing on the point, continuing on the point of no one sets out to make a bad movie. We actually met a few of them.
We did.
Because when this film ended, I had a feeling that we might see someone, just because a lot of British crew, Creepers from Manchester, this is the closest screening to Manchester, and people started applauding at the end of the film, and
yes.
we're like, what?
We just kind of looked at each other like, we just see the same film.
I heard someone say, like, well done, Jarrow, and I was like,
yeah.
I said to you, like,
the creeper's
in the audience. So, not only was the creeper in the audience, a big chunk of the British crew.
Yes.
So, you went to the toilet afterwards. You met the creeper's sister.
I did meet the creeper's sister.
And then I ended up chatting with the production coordinator, the stunt coordinator, and the creeper's stuntman.
Yeah.
I think they kind of knew that it wasn't great. They were like, oh, it wasn't not as bad as people are saying. I'm not quite sure. But start telling me about certain things that they were filming during the pandemic, which I think ruined a lot of the plans, especially trying to get the crew abroad for certain things. And apparently they had a really cool like kill with the truck planned and filmed, and it just never got finished. And even like the fight scene that I really like, which was all like wire work, the stuntman came out at this point, and he was like, "They're like, oh, the fight turned out really good." I was like, "Yeah, they cut it to shit though."
Yeah.
So it's like a lot of people have, and according to the stunt coordinator, they're about to start working on the second one.
That boggles me because I
the thing is, I would still like to see this
the first
creeper
planned trilogy.
This creeper have a better chance.
Well, should we talk just briefly about the plot?
There's a plot.
There's basically... Right, so we have our two main characters, Chase and Lane.
To be fair, it's a step up on the third one. Purely because our issue with that one was we didn't know who we were supposed to be following.
Yeah, the third one...
There's clear main characters for us to follow.
The third one it struggles from the fact that there's like 3 different storylines all going on simultaneously, and it's, who's the main character? Like, who are we meant to be following? This film, we've got Chase and Lane, young couple. He is obsessed with conspiracy theories. He's a big horror nerd, and she's very much grounded in logic and fact and, blah, blah, blah. So, but anyway, they're going to Louisiana because he really wants to go to this horror festival, which is called Horror Hound, and he's geeking out about the idea that they're going to go. And anyway, they do go. They make it there. Along the way, they encounter this woman who works in this, like, voodoo old trinket shop, who gives them a map because they're lost, and she kind of, I don't know, she looks a bit suspicious of the young couple. She realises that Lane is also pregnant. Lane is aware she's pregnant. She has not told Chase that she is pregnant. And anyway, they're at the convention. What is it? Like a raffle is rigged. So both Chase and Lane end up being chosen to go and take part in the creeper. Like, it's a creeper house, or what is it?
Yeah, it's in the trailer. It's a escape room.
It's an escape room that's based around the
importance
creeper.
of the house isn't actually...
No.
We don't actually find it. So yeah, they go... Then Shocker, the creeper wants to come after them in the house. There's something to do with her baby.
Yeah.
Which is very coincidental. The fact that they just happen. The screenplay for this film is so bad.
Yeah.
Chase especially is trying his best throughout.
He tries.
All of this film, but he's just not very good.
None of them are very good.
She's good when she's scared.
Yeah.
That's really good.
There's a scene with her that I did really like.
Yeah. But at the same time, the dialogue's kind of weird, like...
Oh, the dialogue.
Especially when, like, they want to go... He wants to play a few, like, games like throwing knife games at the things like, oh, should we be doing this? And then goes, should we be here? Then they win. Oh, should we really go and do this? It's like, at this point, you've got no reason to be suspicious.
Yeah.
But she seems to be suspicious of everything because it's in the, obviously, it's
a
weird place, but it's just like, I don't get why she's so adverse to doing anything or being involved in anything.
The dialogue is honestly, it's so hard to get past bad dialogue.
The problem is they rely on Chase to tell us things about the creeper.
Yeah.
Lane is it?
Lane.
She starts to have the psychic vision, so she'll find out how to defeat the creeper by some miracle. But on the things of like, oh, he hunts, like they rely on Chase, who's not, bless him, he's trying his best, he's not a great actor with not a great screenplay, and they're very much a tell don't show type thing. So everything they find out about the Creeper, it's also, this is the first time they call him the Creeper. I believe. I think they do it.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, they call him the Creeper a lot, and yeah, they rely on Chase to tell us a lot about him.
Yes, it's a lot exposition heavy.
Yeah,
basically, because the Creeper has turned into an urban legend.
Which I don't mind that approach.
Well, we were quite excited about the idea of that.
Yeah, because if I'm right in saying, I think it very much hints that the original films are films set in this universe based on the Creeper's events.
Yes, because they actually mentioned, don't they? Oh,
they mentioned something up with the director.
There were 3 films made about this or something. They do actually mention like the previous Creeper films.
There's a lot of references like throughout
entities.
The film. I'm really surprised they actually referenced Jeepers Creepers 3 because you see the badge.
Yeah.
Like for the Creeper Hunters.
But
which
then,
I actually think that's the one thing I actually liked from that film. I like the idea of a team of people that come to.
I like the bounty.
I suppose in this world, if you have like a cult for this Creeper or the Creeper Council, I think they were credited as.
The Creeper Council.
That are feeding it and giving it victims.
Yeah, right.
You'd think there would be an adversary to that.
So right, yes. So that's also part of the story. The Creeper Council in 4.
They also can't act.
None of them can act. No one in this film can act.
The crew's very British, trying to do a very Southern American accent.
I got to talk about the accents in a minute. But yes, we have the Creeper Council. So the film goes very cultish because the suspicious-looking woman that Lane and Chase encounter that owns the little voodoo shop, she's part of this council along with some other people in the town who presumably worship the Creeper. They have done for many years. There's like little voodoo dolls in a little temple that's set up in the Creeper house.
Conveniently.
Because
they find out more information from there.
The implication is that they've been feeding the Creeper or they help the Creeper. And yet Lane was specifically chosen to be a sacrifice to the Creeper purely because she's pregnant. Now, why the Creeper needs a baby, I don't know. And I don't even think the film knows because they don't talk about it.
Yeah. And by the end,
it's not explained.
You want to be bored. By the end, you don't care.
No.
And that's the big problem is that you don't care about anything that happens in this film.
I have a big problem with cults in general, bad things. But cults in movies, I don't know, I feel like it's
You've not even made it to the Cult of Fawn in the Halloween franchise yet.
No, I haven't. I just feel like it's such a cheap, I don't know, like get out clause. I don't know. Yeah. I feel like it's just such like a easy thing to do. Oh, there's a weird cult that's going on.
I think that's why they called them a council.
I don't find them interesting at all. Also, the visions that Lane has in the film,
very oddly specific,
are not even in the film. Like they don't happen.
No.
The visions she has don't come to fruition.
Yeah.
So that's another thing that doesn't make any sense.
But
why the Creeper needs a baby, I don't know.
The two again, biggest problems of this. The kills are bad. So many of the kills are, they happen, cut away. We barely get a chance to linger on it. The one character I do really like is like the hillbilly type character. He's not even that much of a hillbilly, but they call it...
He's alright.
Exactly, but he's the best we have. He's alright. But to me, he's the most enjoyable out of this lot, and he puts up the best fight, only to be killed off very unceremoniously. So the kills are bad. That's what, even in bad horror movies, if they have good kills, that can redeem a lot of it. And, all right, I know what people's relationship with VFX and CGI is at the moment. I don't like to judge films on their VFX too much. I had big issues with the VFX in Jeepers Creepers 3. This film's VFX look worse. As soon as they get into the house, everything starts looking better because it's definitely a set, and I got told that was a set. Outside is the VFX for when they're in the graveyard or any point that's outside the house is honestly laughably bad. We actually laughed at some points, and I think you heard me audibly like just gasp in shock at how bad a few things look.
Truly bad.
They've definitely they've got an issue of, well, the backgrounds look really flat. They don't kind of match the house, but it's definitely been filmed shaky, and then they've tried to match move the backgrounds with the shaky camera rather than filming it and the shaking later, because the background movement never matches. When the police cars turn up, that is one of the worst looking shots I've ever seen in my life. I don't know if that's a COVID thing, if they initially had a location that they wanted to do.
Yeah.
But then they massively overreached. And when we see the creeper's wings, we see them in one shot, like kind of just roars the wings. The actual design of the wings I really like. From earlier when we see them bony, now we see them thick and juicy. The wings don't look bad, but the green or blue, whatever they used, the composite in the background is so bad. I can't. Thing is, at the beginning, they've got some pretty good looking green screen car stuff going on, like because they actually like put glass over and everything, which is better than Creeper 3. But how? We watched a little bit of Jeepers Creepers 2 while we were setting up for this. How does that film from 2002, 2003?
3, I think.
How does that film still look better?
Yeah.
How? The Creeper is also on display far too much.
Yeah.
In bright lights. There's certain scenes like when he's got. We don't like the look of his hat either. His hat's, how do they get the hat? The coat looks good.
I don't like the look of the Creeper.
And there's something else I got told as well, which I didn't notice, but they said they had him look very skinny at the beginning of the film, but as he kills more people, he got bigger and bulky. I was like, I didn't notice.
Yeah.
But the fight scene between, I can't remember the hillbilly guy's name.
No.
The guy with the beard. Between him and the Creeper is really cool. Like throwing against wall, because it's all practical.
Yeah.
The Creeper is obsessed with. Well, we get the Creeper song, Jeepers Creepers song.
Yeah.
3 times.
We get a strange rendition of it.
It's a strange rendition of it, but it never quite makes it up to the chorus, and I wonder if that was a thing. Could they not use it?
Yeah, I don't even remember seeing it credited at the end.
No.
In the music section, which is really strange.
No. So yeah, the effects are they're bad to the point of they're so distracting, and it's not that it happens in 1 or 2 shots either. It's a big chunk of this movie.
There were so many things in this film that took me out of it.
Yeah, that's one. It took me. Like I said, personally, honestly, I think the main reason I prefer it to Free is purely because it wasn't Victor Salva. I think that's the only.
Honestly, like
the only reason.
It really, really pains.
And I feel like this guy, this Creeper. I don't think Jonathan Breck was trying that much in Jeepers Creepers 3. I don't know if he really wanted to be there.
I feel like the spark had gone. I think he knew he wasn't working on a decent installment.
Yeah. This guy was trying his best.
Yeah,
and in a lot of ways, I think he was a lot of fun as the Creeper. When he got to actually... Like, the Creeper's disposed of far too quickly.
There's so many things.
Basically, it's a terrible film.
There are so many
Did it not get a wide... I know there was something to do with, like, distribution rights, which is the reason why it's not had a wide release. I don't think it would not have done well. I think after 1 week in the cinema, if it had a wide release, it would be gone.
Yeah.
And it's that question of, should they still continue... Because it's still tainted by Victor Salva. Should we even continue making Creeper movies? If it's not going to be able to attract the screenwriters and get the budget that it deserves, or get the release, should it just be left? But I made this point. The Creeper that we have in Jeepers Creepers 3 is different to the Creeper in 1 and 2.
Yeah. Physically,
we will never physically like Jeepers Creepers 1 is a horror movie. Jeepers Creepers 2 is a horror movie with a bit more action in it. The Creeper is a side character. The Creeper hasn't been scary since 2.
No.
He's not scary in Jeepers Creepers 3. He's certainly not scary in this one.
No.
They're trying to turn him into a slasher icon, and that's not what he is. They don't even have him hunting people down specifically for the body parts in this one.
That was...
He's killing for the sake... It's like... He's not picky. The only thing he's picky about is Lane because she's pregnant. And that is a fundamental problem with this Creeper and the way he's been written.
I was going to say, again, I've mentioned...
But we will never have a Creeper like we had in Jeepers Creepers 1 and 2. We will never have that again.
I was going to say, though, that I think we've talked about it in other Creeper videos. I can't remember which one specifically, but 1 works primarily, A, because it is a really decent film, but also because the Creeper encounters Trish and Derry at the very beginning of the film, and he hunts them, those 2 specifically, until the end of the film, because it's personal.
Mm-hmm. It's
personal with those 2. He wants one of them or both of them. Ultimately, he just wants one of them. In the second film, we have Ray Wise. We have, him trying to hunt down the creeper for revenge for killing his youngest boy. We also have all the kids on the bus. It's like every time one of those characters is killed or hurt in some way, it's personal. Like, we feel that it's earned. Even the characters that we don't like in the second one.
He doesn't want everyone on the bus.
He doesn't. He picks them out. But he has found those characters himself.
Yeah.
And there's the hunt and there's the chase. And there's the fun that the creeper has in scaring them, with every encounter. The third one, we lose that. It's not even existent in this installment whatsoever. It's like Chase and Lane are kind of set up to be the Trish and Derry, but there's no personal connection. The creeper has very few interactions with them prior to like the big showdown at the very end, and you need that in a creeper film. You need it. You need to have the excitement of the chase and of the hunt. There's one scene I think in this film where the creeper eats a body part.
Yeah.
That's completely lacking as well.
It's kind of cool.
It's okay.
He's not really eating anything, as you can see, but...
It's okay. It's just unfortunate that the character he kills is also, like, such a nothing character.
We see him eat 2 body parts. We see him eating the brain of one, and... 2 other things I actually quite liked. Because he rips an arm off someone he's already killed, and kind of starts eating it and grows another arm. We've not seen him do it from a dead body before.
No.
That was kind of cool. It still doesn't look as cool as it did with his head in the second one. And he has a whistle. It's like a really high-pitched whistle.
Yeah.
That I actually kind of liked. I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, the whistle sound was a nice addition, I guess. But, I mean, fundamentally, this just did not feel like a Jeepers Creepers movie.
No.
And as much as it pains me to say it, and it really, really does pain me to say it, 3 is a better film than 4. My opinion, 3 is a masterpiece compared to 4.
Yeah.
And that is really saying something, because I fucking hate Jeepers Creepers 3, guys. I hate Jeepers Creepers 3. And yet, I think it's a better film than this. What happened? How did they go so wrong with Jeepers Creepers 4? The budget is $5 million, which, is not big by any means. But it's like, if you're making a film on a shoestring budget like that, work within your means. Work within your means. What they tried to do with this, it was so even the way it was shot, it very cheaply. You said it looked like a fan-made horror film. Yeah,
it did. It felt like a fan film.
It has that feel to it, and I don't know, everything from the cult to, which I just think is quite lazy, and I don't like that addition.
Yeah. So apparently the festival they went to is a real festival. I want to go to that.
That is a real festival. But then the acting is just bad. All around. I don't buy that these 2 characters are in a relationship, because they don't have natural chemistry together. The dialogue between them, it's like weird pacing as well. I don't know, it just doesn't work. And then, because obviously we're set in Louisiana, there's one particular scene that just I could not get over. Where one character is introduced at the horror festival on the stage as like a big draw, as a guest appearance.
Ex-Miss Universe
or something, and she gives this big speech. You're like, welcome to the Horror Hound Festival. And the accent was so bad. Clearly a British actress trying to do a Louisiana accent.
But it goes on for so long.
I couldn't get past. I was laughing my head off, and I couldn't. Could not move on from it.
I feel bad because obviously we were there with people who've worked very hard on it.
That's the thing, and I saw the creeper at the end, and people having his photo taken with him, and he just seemed like a really nice guy.
I kind of wish we had. I also noticed, because obviously we watched through the credits, just in case there was a post-credit. There isn't.
Yeah.
There was not a lot of VFX artists on this film. There's been a handful of people who've been massively overworked trying to make this look good. And I think that's a big problem. That's obviously they didn't have the budget to hire more VFX artists.
No.
And obviously it doesn't excuse it. It's still a final product. We're going to judge it based on how we got it. But there's definitely just been a handful of people that have worked far too hard to try and make, polish a turd, essentially.
You mentioned earlier that the creeper is disposed of too easily.
Yeah.
And too quickly. And yeah, I also
He's disposed
agree.
of through a very bad one of the worst VFX shots in the entire movie as well.
And
And
then
it
also doesn't make sense.
Oh, we'll not bother spoiling the very ending.
No, but it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't. No, it doesn't make any sense. And at the same time, it's like, I don't care.
No, that's the thing. It's like, I want to say that I will carry on watching Jeepers Creepers movies because I do love the franchise and I'm in it for the long haul. As long as they make creeper movies, I'm going to watch them. But I have so much less incentive now.
We won't watch... I would only watch this movie again if it was on a streaming service and I didn't have to... We paid to watch this movie. I just really wanted to see a Jeepers Creepers film in the cinema that I could watch guilt-free because he's not going to make any money off it. I might have got slightly more enjoyment than you have. It is one of those things that it is so bad.
Oh, it's so bad.
It's funny. Like, it's so funny, but it's also... So if you aren't a Jeepers Creepers fan, you watch it, you're probably just going to think it's dreadful and really hilariously bad. As a Jeepers Creepers fan, it's painful.
I feel
it's so painful.
A lot of the consensus at the minute, based on other YouTube reviews I've seen, and there's not many because again, this film hasn't. A lot of the big YouTubers won't touch it. Well, a lot of them that I've seen are angry.
Yeah.
That's the main emotion I feel people feel. People wanted this to be a decent film because yes, Salva isn't involved, and yet this was the chance that we could inject new life into Jeepers Creepers. We could go and see it guilt-free. We can start it all off again, and yes, a new dawn for Jeepers Creepers fans. And this is what we got. And the feeling is we're so disappointed by it that we're angry with it.
Yeah.
Because this is not the film that we deserved as fans.
Because it's hard to justify being a Jeepers Creepers fan.
It is hard.
And there is that...
It is hard.
I think, we were part of that perfect generation that watched it who... He'd be in the prison, made the movies, no one knew. So we watched these movies, especially the first two, loved them. Then it all comes out and it's kind of like, you have to justify being a fan of them.
Yeah.
Like, say there's more people involved in it.
Yeah.
That's why I kind of didn't like Jeepers Creepers for even going into it.
Because at that point you knew about Salva.
Yeah. So this film, it almost felt like, is this going to be our reward for sticking with this franchise?
This is what we get.
And this is what we got.
This is what we got.
It's just...
I don't know. Maybe the franchise just needs to...
I think it just needs to die.
I think it does. We had two absolutely outstanding films 20 years ago, and I think I'm honestly happy just to carry on watching them and thinking of them as the ultimate Jeepers Creepers films. I think this has proven that... I don't know. I mean, maybe given another director, another budget, another screenplay, basically an entirely different film with an entirely different team.
Outside of the pandemic.
Maybe we could have a decent Jeepers film. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I would like to see this new Creeper get another shot. Maybe redesign him a little bit.
I will say, I do think that the guy, Giraud Benjamin, you can definitely tell that he studied Jonathan Breck.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The little fingers, the smiles.
Lot of movements. I mean,
the way he walks is really with the coat and everything. So I was like,
he works that coat.
He works that coat.
I don't like the design. The teeth to me look really strange.
You know the problem with the teeth? They were too clean.
They were too clean, but
that was the problem.
They were too pointy, too big and pointy as well.
I honestly didn't clock it until we saw the bus. One of the he's hanging upside down edge of the bus. When he smiles, I was like, the teeth are the same teeth, but they're dirty in that one.
Yeah.
And that's the problem, they're too clean. Because his skin's so, dark, and the film's quite dark, you have these pearly white shining at you.
Yeah. It just makes me sad. It makes me sad when I think about how brilliant the film started off, and now we are where we are. I don't know.
Yeah. How are they going to start working on another one?
I can honestly say I will not watch this film again. I have no desire to watch it again. And it's really, really sad. But that's how bad I thought it was, and I do feel I feel like a horrible person for saying it because I did want to enjoy it. And
when the first trailer came out, I was pretty excited. The teaser came, I was like, I'm pretty excited because there are certain shots of the Creeper that look really good, and most of them are in the trailers. It's like, oh, so I kind of feel like it's like being kicked in the dick.
It is, well, I imagine, yeah.
Yeah.
Kick in the teeth.
I think I've as much as I might have had slightly more enjoyment than you with it, I didn't think it's not a good film, but especially after I let it sit with me for a bit, it's like, yeah, the franchise has kicked me in the dick.
Yeah.
And
really
we gave money. Although, I said, that I can't defend it anymore. Like, I think I'm done. I'm done. I'm done talking about this movie.
I know.
Have you got any more notes?
I had very few notes, honestly. To be
There's not even much to research on it.
No, there isn't. I mean, all filmmaking standpoints, from acting to screenplay to VFX, all of it is pretty dire.
Yeah.
And again, I don't feel good saying that, but that's honestly
Stunts were
Jeepers
pretty
Creepers
good
4.
In that one scene.
Yeah, it didn't feel like a Jeepers Creepers movie to me, and whatever movie it was that we got wasn't great. So yeah.
Well. Yeah.
I know. I can't believe.
I think it's probably the most negative we've ever talked about a movie.
I can't believe I said that Jeepers Creepers 3 is better, but it's true. To me, it's true. I think 3 was technically a better film. I feel like I need to go and take a bath.
Yeah. Well,
saying that.
Next week we're talking about The Others. I believe, if I've got my schedule right. It's The Others and then it's Dog Soldier. So we're going to be much more positive.
Yeah, The Others, brilliant movie.
Unless Halloween ends up being an absolute dumpster fire.
I can't see.
This is the worst film I've seen this year.
I think we can safely say that Jeepers Creepers Reborn will be the worst review that we do this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Terror Train remake is coming though.
Oh, it is.
Come on, be worse.
Be
worse, just so I can say that Jeepers Creepers isn't the worst
what's,
film I've seen this year.
What's worse for you? Jeepers Creepers Reborn or Black Christmas 2019?
Different year, doesn't count. Talk about this year. I don't want to think of that movie. No. Actually,
okay.
There's less VFX in it. That can offend me. I actually think that is a worse movie though.
What, Black Christmas?
Yeah.
It was pretty bad.
As a man watching that film was just attacking me throughout the entirety of it.
It was pretty bad.
I'm not talking about that. I never want to talk about that film again. But that was not this year.
Right,
so yeah,
well,
unless Halloween Ends is truly god awful.
I know. I wish I could recommend this to you guys. I wish I could say, like, yeah, go see this in the cinema. If you're a Jeepers Creepers fan, go see Jeepers Creepers Reborn.
Can't, because it's not in the cinema anymore.
Yeah.
It was cool being at an event.
It was.
And it's the first time I feel like we've been able to sit with the majority of the people who made the movie, which was that was cool.
That was cool.
So as much as the movie is dreadful,
the experience.
This review's going on forever now. It's a new cinema. If we ever do another cinema experiences video, we can talk about this one, and that was really cool.
Yeah.
And it felt like strangely privileged to be there.
Yeah, it did.
Because it was clearly a very special moment for all them.
I'm sure.
Even though, like, kind of even they know the movie didn't turn out great.
Mm.
But it's like it sounds like there was some good stuff also that was left on the cutting room floor that they just ran out of budget.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the VFX.
We'll see what happens with Jeepers Creepers 5, I guess. If and when it happens.
Jeepers Creepers Reborn 2. Jeepers Creepers Resurrection.
Oh my god.
Go with the original name for the third one. The Creeper Walks Among Us.
Yeah.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
So guys. Yeah.
That was Jeepers Creepers Reborn.
That's Jeepers Creepers Reborn. I'll see you next week. Bye.